person.
Hi, so tonight Jess and I are going to be talking about online gaming and online gambling. And I understand that specifically online gambling can be something that's very addictive and, something that needs to be protected. But what I think is unethical is that, there are people out there that gamble responsibly. And it's really unfair to take away online gambling from these people that use it responsibly, just because, some ruin it for everyone.
I honestly feel that for every one responsible person, there are five irresponsible people who are either using it to feed their addiction, who are charging up other people's credit cards for sport and for a chance to win big, and every person who is not monitoring their children, who can just take their credit card and log on. Then you have underage gamblers, you have people with addictions who are sick, who are just able to log on. I think it creates a huge problem, and it sort of perpetuates a vicious cycle.
I agree that there is a problem that there are kids going on that are underage for gambling, and people that are even, so addicted to it that it can cause a problem. But, if there was a system that was created that, made it unable for kids to be able to access their parents' accounts, maybe with passwords set up like a lot of bank accounts have online, and different systems where they only let you play for a certain amount of time. Say for somebody that had an addiction, you were only allowed to play for a certain amount of time, only allowed to bet a certain amount of money, so it put a stop to their excessive betting and their excessive gambling. Maybe if a system was run correctly, it would be a different story.
Sure, but I mean, is there even really a need for online gambling when you really think about it that way? I mean, if somebody can't somebody just go to an off-track betting or go to a casino where at least it's properly monitored, where there's a person keeping an eye on these things, making sure that it stays in control? I mean, does this have to even happen online? I mean, there's so many different things to consider. Setting up passwords and roadblocks and things like that. I just don't even think it's necessary, and I just think that, if you want to go do it, there's a time and place for it. And sitting at home gambling at 4 a.m., it just makes, people go in debt. It makes, there's nothing stopping a kid from stealing a parent's credit card and just getting their birth date and logging on.
I mean, I see what you're saying with the fact that, is something like this necessary? Because to you and I, both not big gamblers, or at least I'm not, I don't really see it as being something, that I have to go and do. But to some people, this is what they love, and this is their hobby, just like we have our own different hobbies, and they really live for this. And I've read about the fact that there are still a lot of people that are gambling online, but they're doing it overseas. So they're, essentially giving this money that, could become part of our tax system, could go back into our country. Instead, it's going overseas, illegally, basically. So, if there was a system in the United States that allowed for, certain regulations, if it was run correctly, again, like I said, it would have to have certain passwords, like you said also. But if there was something like that, it would allow for something legal and keep the money in our country for those
I have
that.
nothing. I have nothing against stimulating the economy. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that. But I mean, if someone's doing it as a hobby, like you said before, then maybe they'd want to use it as practice. Like, there are plenty of gaming sites where you can go on and you play for sort of virtual money. I mean, why do you have to play for real money if it's a hobby? I mean, practice and then go. And like I said, I have nothing against putting money, into the tax system and, giving back, and even, someone starts an online gambling site and it's sort of helping a new entrepreneur, like that's really something that our country needs. I understand, but just as many people who are playing out of the country who are bringing it in, they're playing in the country and bringing it out into places where there are even less restrictions. So it really doesn't help anyone or benefit anyone at all.
There's
Not to mention credit card theft.
Yeah, credit card theft is something that's serious, but then again, if they put certain protections and certain regulations on it, that could even become more protected. A lot of people use online banking today, and it's things like that. The security has been improved, so situations like that have been decreased. But there's a lot of people use online gambling to raise money for certain can't come up with the word, but certain organizations, I guess. And there's been a lot of online poker tournaments for charity that, people are saying they're even missing out on raising this money for charity. So even though maybe as a hobby they could just use it for practice, here's a case where it could be used for good. People can, come together and raise money by playing online
It's definitely a
games.
fair point. And for something like that, I don't think anyone should really have to miss out on the opportunity to raise money or anything like that. So in that case, I mean, if we're going to go on that argument, which I happen to somewhat agree with, I do think that, there would have to be those regulations in place. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure that with all the issues in this country right now that I really want our lawmakers worrying about how to regulate online gambling and stuff like that at this time. That's very much a personal opinion, but is that really the biggest problem in this country right now?
No, I agree with you on
I
that,
think it brings
definitely.
more trouble than it's worth.
I agree with you on that as much as,
So, well,
sorry, go ahead.
as much as the next girl.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So, it's a very interesting topic. Definitely interesting to see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to disappear. I think it's something that's going to, the argument of it is it's going to stay around for a while until something's done. So,
yeah, we've watched it grow in our time. So,
yeah. All right, wrapping it up.